I'm working in the New Perspectives Microsoft Office Access 2007 textbook. I'm beginning on page AC5. I'm going to open Access. I'm going to create a database. I'm going to create a table. And I'm going to do some modifications to that table. Let's start by opening Access. In the book on page AC5, it gives you one possible way of opening Access. There are a number of other ways. I'm currently working in Windows 7. I'm going to click the Start button, and in the Search Programs and Files, I'm going to key in Access. Actually, I just keyed in ACC and it brings up Access. It's the top program on my list here, and I'm going to click it to open Access. That just saves me a little bit of time when I know the name of the application that I'm looking for. The next thing I'm being asked to do is to create a blank database. So I'm going to start at the top where it says Getting Started with Microsoft Access, and I'm going to click on Blank Database. I'm going to see the right-hand side of that window change. It's going to ask me the name of the database, and it's also going to ask me, using the Browse icon over to the right-hand side of that box, where I want to save this particular database. Now you should have a place where you keep the data files that you're going to be using or creating and using for your class. Your instructor will normally give you that information. In my case, I'm going to put them back in with the data that I'm using to populate this database. So first I'll name my database, and your instructor will likely give you a method of creating or naming these databases. The method that I normally use is the last name followed by the name of the database. And rather than keying in my last name, I'm going to key it in with placeholders. Oops. Held my shift key down too long. So I'm going to do X, 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 and the name of the database, which is Belmont. And I'm going to browse out to where I want to save these files, and I'm keeping them on my desktop. And I'm keeping them in a folder named Pending and inside the tutorial. And I'll save it there. Now it really hasn't done anything yet. It just tells me the name of the database and where it's going to be saved. I click Create, and that will create the database. In Access 2007, you are presented with a table named Table 1, and it is open in Datasheet view, and it is ready for you to start entering data. This is new to Access 2007. Earlier versions of Access would just take you basically into the database, and you'd be presented with a database with no objects inside of it. This is intended to make you feel a little bit more comfortable when you come into the database, because at least there's something there. Some of us that have been using Access for a long time really don't like it, but it works. So what we're being asked to do on the textbook is over on page 9 is to right-click on the ID field and rename the column. Having a field named ID is really not a good idea. It needs to be some kind of ID, like student ID or pet ID or album ID or something. ID really doesn't give you a lot of information. So if you have a bunch of fields in one database that are all named ID, are they all the same field or are they all different? So giving it a better name is a real good idea. In this case, we're going to call it Contract Num. Now, because we're in the first part of this textbook and I'm teaching, working specifically to the textbook, I am going to put spaces in my field names. When we get into the latter part of the textbook, we're going to stop putting in field names. Okay, and I'm going to press my Enter key, and basically it takes me down so I could start entering my data. But what I want to do is to go up to where it says Data Type, and the default data type for a primary key is auto number. Auto number just simply means that it's going to give the first record the number 1, the second one number 2, number 3. Now what you have to understand with Access is that these are not in sequential order, meaning that this is record number 1 and this is record number 2 and this is record number 3. This is a record who has been assigned an identifier called 1. This is a record who has been assigned identifier called number 2. If you were to remove record 2, your primary key would not renumber. It would not go 1, 2, 3, 4. It would go 1, 3, 4. Because 2 is a primary key. It's a unique identifier. It can only be used once. And if you pull it out, it's gone. So we're changing this to a text and data type. And let's see. And we're going to leave it as it is. I'm going to go over to the next one, and I'm going to add new field. And I'll double click up there in the add new field area, and I'll put in customer ID. I'll hit my tab key. You can also hit your enter key. I'm just used to using tab, and I'm going to put in contract amount, hit my tab key, signing date, and contract type. Okay, now it's going to go over and try to add a new field. We're not interested in that, so I'm going to click back here in contract num. Now you can't see contract num. If you wanted to, you could double click on the dividers, and that will resize the columns to fit. And I'm going to start entering data. And I'm going to enter 11001. Even though it is a number, it's in a text data type. Oops, I put in the wrong value. No problem, I'll just come back there, select it, and put in 3011. Then hit my tab key. This is the one that is 11001. Contract amount. Now you have to enter this exactly right or it won't work. And if I type it in, and sometimes it won't work anyway, so let me just give it a try here. It might work, it might not. $4, 000, and when I press the tab key, I'll look back at it, it did work. It formatted as a data type currency with a format of currency. Now if yours didn't work, where you see the decimal point 00, what you'd have to do is click back on that field, go up to the data type, click the drop-down menu, choose currency, in the format, choose currency. Now in the signing date, we're going to do 2/9, and all I have to do is put in 10. I don't have to put in 2010. It will fix it for me. And the contract type is going to be residential landscape plan. Hit my enter key. Now if you want to resize that, put your mouse pointer over the column. It becomes a double-headed arrow. Double click to resize. Right now I'm going to save this table. Even though in the book we save a little bit later on, I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to click the save icon. It's going to ask me to name the table, and I'm going to name this table as per the instructions on page AC16. I'm going to name it contract. That's the end of this segment, and I'm going to go on to, I will produce another segment which will show you how to enter additional records.